So I'm with the India Dhamma Trust. I'm not going to stand up here and tell you all about what the India Dhamma Trust do. I'm sure many of you already know that. Yeah. So for those that don't, it raises money for the Indian ordination process. Yeah. So basically it creates dharmacharis and dharmacharinis. But I am going to stand here and remind you that there is a revolution happening right now in India. And it's a revolution that the India Dhamma Trust are at the heart of. And it's a revolution started by Dr. Ambedkar. And his vision was for a society that supports the development of all human beings to their full potential. And he knew that a revolution could not happen without the transformation of hearts and minds. And this is why he converted to Buddhism. Well, that's also my vision. And I want to be part of this revolution, and I'd like to invite you to be part of it too. And I suggest that in many ways we already are. This is what we're doing. So I want to be part of a revolution, of a historical movement that brings Buddhism back to the land of the Buddha. And I feel inspired by what we can achieve when we come together for the greater good. Or as Padmavajra put it in his talk on Friday, the transforming power of the collective endeavour. Say that again. The transforming power of the collective endeavour. So I've just recently finished a Karana appeal. It's the first one I've done. Before that, I had some connection with India, but it was a little bit distant. It'd been a while since I'd been there. And I think doing the appeal, I hadn't quite realised the effect that I could have on others, and the difference I could make on real people's lives. And what we achieved collectively was inspiring. So now I'm here, I'm going to knock on the order's door. I'd like you to open it. Yeah. So I'm also inspired to join this revolution because, well, I didn't have the best conditions in which to fulfil my human potential. I grew up, in particular conditions. And I ended up sort of falling along the wrong path, or choosing the wrong path. I ended up taking a lot of drugs and drinking a lot of alcohol. I ended up getting into fights. In fact, the last fight I had, I ended up getting arrested for, which is why it was the last fight I had. I sat in a police cell thinking, this isn't you. Yeah. I know, I just said that in front of the order. Yeah. Well, that's all right, yeah. So I guess I just didn't know that there was an alternative. And so I feel very grateful. I feel like the Dharma has transformed my life in a way that I could never have imagined possible. And also my ordination process was so supported financially, spiritually, emotionally by so many good friends. Yeah. So I couldn't have imagined what it would have been like to do it without those friends and without that support, which is why I want to do this, yeah. So I went to see Bhante just before my ordination, I think, or after. And I went to him and I said, Bhante, I just want to say thank you. I said, I feel like you've saved my life. And I said, and I want to just give something back to you in return. And I said, what can I do? And he took a breath, as he does, and he looked at me in the way that he does, and he just said, spread the word. Yeah. So I feel inspired to help other people and other people's lives be transformed by the Dharma, to show them that there is an alternative, and I imagine you are too. Yeah. And I want to help the Indian order spread the word, because in India there's such spiritual receptivity. And I also feel excited by the amount of people whose lives could be transformed in India. So there are up to 300 million new Buddhists in India who are followers of Dr. Ambedkar, desperate for the Dharma with no access to it. And that amount of people, it's too much to understand, isn't it, to think about, so I tried to work it out. And that's like 5 times the amount of people in the UK would like to have the Dharma, would like to walk into a Buddhist centre. Imagine that. Yeah. If there was one. So the Indian ordination teams are ready to expand their activities, and they're ready to be that alternative, to create the conditions for people to fulfil their human potential, for people to transform their hearts and minds. But at the moment there are not enough order members to support that work, and they still need us to join that revolution by helping them financially. So I'm aware that many of you already give. Yes, thank you very much. And the great news is that this year we launched the Self-Reliant India campaign. And this is to help the Indian ordination team become financially self-reliant. And thanks to some really generous order members, we managed to raise £100,000 in just a few months. So fundraising in India has begun, which is fantastic. And they will continue to need our help for a few more years while the fundraising develops, which is why I'm here today. So we still need around another £1,000 a month coming in with your help. So if you don't yet give or have been thinking about giving, please consider doing so now. And if you already give, thank you for supporting the good work that we do. I'm going to be a little bit cheeky. I'm going to ask you if you'd consider increasing your gift. And through giving, I'm inviting you to connect with the transformative effect that ordination has had on you. Just imagine your life without having joined the order. I'm also inviting you to connect with your brothers and sisters in India. Because in India, the path to ordination can be difficult. And by giving to the India Dharma Trust, you're enabling the historic revival of Buddhism in the land of the Buddha's birth. So can you help? Will you join the revolution? So we're about to have Subhadra Mati's book launch. And so you won't get an opportunity to fill in these standing order forms that are on your seat until after the order metta. So I guess I'm a little bit concerned that you might forget, that it might just go out of your mind. Yeah. So I'd like to invite you to bring an Indian Dharmachari or Dharmacharini into your order metta and allow your heart to connect with India. Allow your heart to connect with your brothers and sisters like you and me, whose lives have been transformed by the Dharma.